I really love episodes such as episode 9 of Garo. These types of episodes that right after something extremely heavy happens. So with Garo having sister dying, kind of sword being pushed to his edge with the Dark Knight there. I love an episode such as this one where it's not overly heavy, it's not overly dramatic, there is a bit of sadness and sorrow, but at the end of the day, this is kind of like the bonding episode, the kind of like mending what was broken. We have Sword and Sophie, more or less, are coming to terms with their own feelings and their own regrets. I mean, Sophie literally lost sister, someone who she blames herself for her death, because if it wasn't for these knights coming after her, sister would have never been killed. On top of the fact that she feels alone, she doesn't have her brother, everything about her life right now is very, very bad. And then you have someone like Sword who has lost family in the past, and now is kind of seeing Sophie in a lot of ways as someone he can protect, where in the past he couldn't protect his siblings. Very interesting to see how this episode was directed. I love these episodes where a lot of it isn't dialogue based. I mean, the first half was more or less just scenery, them traveling together, and it was this very beautiful just soundtrack being played all throughout the episode, the first of which was a very beautiful English-speaking song, which I really enjoyed. A lot of guitar work. The soundtrack was on fire this week. It really brought the emotion, and I love what they did with Sword and Sophie, because in a lot of ways, they are more or less having this brother and sister relationship. Sophie lost her big brother, and now is more or less gaining a new one within Sword. Obviously not replacing her brother, she still loves her brother, wants to rescue her brother, see where her brother went, but still, this is almost like something that she hasn't had for so long, whereas Sword lost, I believe it was his younger brother, if I'm not mistaken, was who he lost, so it's almost like both of them are regaining what they once lost within one another, and they want to protect one another. Sword wants to protect Sophie, and Sophie wants to find her brother, but also I think Sophie's going to bring a lot to kind of make Sword feel a bit more human, because I feel like he's kind of shied away from love and compassion when he lost his brother. I feel like he's just trying to be put on that kind of like fun guy face, always praising the boobs, things like that, but I think he definitely has lost a lot of what made him who he was back in the day, and I feel like they're both going to kind of bond together and kind of become something like a family in a lot of ways, and I really like their relationship. What I like the most of the episode is actually Sophie's mentality of why she wanted to help the deer who was shot in the leg. She wanted to save the deer, which personally, I'm all aboard that type of stuff, you know, you want to save animals. But I love what they did with her character. She couldn't protect sister. Sister died, and she sees a helpless animal, and it's almost like her way of trying to make up for what happened to sister, and ultimately when that deer leaves with either the mother or the father deer, she then starts breaking down because of how just broken she is about sister, and I love that hug between Sword and Sophie. It was beautiful, and just the music really, I think, tied this episode together. The soundtrack wasn't as good as it was in this episode. This episode wouldn't have been as amazing as I think it was, but this is easily my favorite episode of Garo Vanishing Line. I know it's not going to be everyone's, but these are the types of episodes that I live for with animes, when you have something so heavy like the past couple of episodes, and you tie it together in a very kind of like calm but yet sad episode like this, but it gives you that sense of hope. And I just think overall, the directing was on point, there was emotion in the voice actors, especially Sophie. I think she stole the show, but just everything about it just felt so damn magical, and it gives you a purpose for these two kind of traveling together. Sophie is pretty much a magnet for El Dorado, so of course she needs to kind of be with someone like Sword who can protect her, and just overall, this is the type of stuff I love with Garo, and I think they handled it beautifully. It was emotional, it had power to it, and I like how nothing felt pointless in this episode. It felt like everything had a purpose, and I really do like the bond that Sophie and Sword are having. I love how Sophie isn't just this damsel in distress character. She feels like someone who's had a lot of bad shit happen, but she's also giving Sword the push that I think he needs as well. On top, we had a little bit of Luke stuff. Luke is just beyond broken, which isn't surprising with everything that's happened to him with his family life on top of his body, literally. But I really hope, like, Luke can get back into the fray and start being a badass again, but I can understand if he needs a bit of downtime. But overall, Garo just hit home this week. I love this episode. Maybe not everyone is feeling the same as me, but I love the power behind that music. I love all the emotion, and I just loved the hug scene after Sophie was crying about sister. So damn immersive, so powerful, but I'm interested to hear, what did everyone think of this episode? Is this a really good episode in your opinion, or are you not a big fan of these kind of like, almost just very quiet episodes and it's not till near the end when you actually get dialogue? Because for me personally, these are the types of episodes that I live for in anime. But let me know your thoughts, and before you leave, smack that like button, share your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time everyone, please take care and have a good one.